Back with us on the SportsMax Zone. For over 25 years, Mario Bowleg enjoyed a career in banking. That distinguished career, which saw him rise to the level of assistant manager of credit at Commonwealth Banks, actually began with him working as a doorman and security officer. Bowleg is known and respected around the region for his exploits in sport, especially basketball. He has coached and mentored athletes at every level of the spectrum in the Bahamas, from high school to the national senior team. He also served as president of the Bahamas Basketball Federation for 3 years and is also a respected analyst of the game. Today, Mario Bowleg joins us on the Zone in his new role as Minister of Sport, Youth and Culture, having won the right to represent the people of Garden Hills in the Parliament of the Bahamas coming out of the September 16 general election. Minister of Sport, Youth and Culture, Minister Bowleg, good to have you on the SportsMax Zone, sir. Welcome.
Well, welcome back for me, and thanks for having me. And only now I'm in another capacity.
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. So good to have you, and congratulations from myself and the team here at SportsMax once again for a job well done on both counts. All right, let's talk planning, Mr. Minister. I've heard you in interviews after your installation, your swearing in, speak about some agenda items that you wanted to address over the short, medium, and long term during your tenure as cabinet minister. You spoke about the world relays. You spoke about infrastructure development. You spoke about getting sports federations closer to the athletes they represent, because in your estimation there is a disconnect there. And you also spoke about getting persons who know sport and who can speak dreams into being and give shape to the way that federations must pursue their planning to achieve success. You spoke about putting all that in, and this is the chance now, Minister, for you to talk about how you plan to achieve those things and what are your priorities as you go on this mission.
Well, you know, I do believe a Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture in any country is almost considered the lifeline as it relates to developing your youth for a future. And with that being said, you know, we must put program in place that will encompass all three units within inside the ministry. And one in particular thing that I want to make sure that we do is we have something that called Be Inspired. And that is to ensure that we encourage young entrepreneurs, young people who just leave school, who wants to become their own boss and their own owners of their business, that we will be able to provide them with a grant that will allow them to jumpstart their businesses. So stuff like that is what we want to make sure our youth of this nation has the opportunity to be able to get funding to start their own business. We also want to have a lot of concept that would allow youths to be able to go to university and collaborate, you know, with others throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to understand the nature of their culture and to also see how our culture benefits us. You know, one thing I said that I want to immediately do for three of the units, youth, sport, and culture in the Bahamas, is to make sure that we got those advisory council. I do believe the most important factor in any ministry is having those persons who are on the ground, who knows the ins and outs of these various units, whether it's culture, youth, or sport, involved in the decision-making as we progress to make this country better. And I think once those advisory councils are put together, then the bright minds will come, and then the decision-making from this ministry will be displayed out there. And I think everyone will be comfortable and happy. I think in the past, there was a disconnect. There was decisions made without consultation. And I want to make sure that consultation is there so that the programs could benefit all and sundry.
Yeah, the important issue of the world relays, I must tell you that I was disappointed when it left the Caribbean. I felt it was in its natural home in the Bahamas. The first 3 years, of course, you had that, and then for various reasons it left and went elsewhere. You've said that, look, you intend to bring it back. How do you open those talks to get the IWF or World Athletics to rehouse the world relays to where I think it belongs?
Well, again, you know, we have the president of NACAC here, which is Mike Sands. We have a lot of individuals here who is quite familiar with the connections along with the Olympic Committee here in the Bahamas. I think we all on one accord as it relates to reaching out and trying to bring these relays back to the Bahamas. We felt that it was beneficial. It was a signature year in the Bahamas. I think the next games is scheduled for 2023 or 2025. I'm not too sure, but I will check that. But I think we have sufficient time now to put the funding in place and to reach out to them. I think there's a deadline by next year sometime. And I'm sure that the organizers know that the time spent here in the Bahamas was great for them, and they will be willing to bring it back once the government and myself are able to host them.
Mario, there's a chart that shows, based on gold medals won at the Olympic Games as against population, that Bahamas is number one in the world. 8 gold medals with a population of under 400,000, I think 389,000 or so. A very solid foundation you've got there based on your history at the Olympic Games. How do you sustain that and improve even on it?
Well, ensuring that we get coaches who are well-trained and certified. Once coaches are well-trained and certified, then we have well-developed athletes that will be able to go there and perform at the very highest level. And that's what's uttermost important. So my ministry is to reach out not only with the high school coaches, but also all the various club coaches within the country and ensure that this federation has the necessary certification and make sure that these coaches has the tools. If the coaches does not know what they're doing or does not have the tools to develop these athletes, then we will not sustain what we have. And as the older coaches begin to move off the scene, we got to ensure that the younger ones receive the necessary tools and coaching that will make them successful.
Yeah, we've all accepted as people involved in sport, Mario, that sport is now a business, and I see a lot of Bahamians transitioning into the NFL and Major League Baseball and so on, and the NBA, of course. So there's a lot of talent here in the region, but we do have occasions where the region loses some of its talented young stars to more developed countries. And I see Jonquil Jones, your outstanding basketball star, has dual citizenship, and she now represents Bosnia-Herzegovina as a national. That obviously was a financial decision on her part. How do you feel about that as a basketball person, and what would you do to ensure that that doesn't happen again? Because she's clearly one of the best players in the world, isn't she?
Yes. Well, and first of all, let me congratulate her for winning the Most Valuable Player award in the WNBA. Just was announced earlier today.
Yes.
I was saddened on her decision, but it was a financial decision. I was the president of the Bahamas Basketball Federation at that time and was responsible for signing that letter that would release her. So it was a bittersweet moment, but I understood where she wanted to go and what she wanted to do. But as a country, we have to make sure that our athletes are treated as best as they can. And that brings me to the point of wanting to make sure we revamp our subvention programs to ensure that our athletes feel appreciated prior to their success. And so that if they want to obtain that necessary financial assistance that will continue their improvements and development in their professional career, that they will want to stay home and represent their country. And that is one of the things I definitely want to focus on, and that is ensuring that we do whatever it takes that our athletes remain proudful and wanting to represent their country and remain at home despite the funding that is being offered to them.
Yeah, the Bahamas world-class in track and field and, of course, world-class in basketball. I want to put a point to you, Minister, that I'm familiar with at a slightly intimate level. I know of a couple guys from the Bahamas who've made it to the NBA over time who, while growing up through the system in the Bahamas and displaying the talent for basketball that, of course, eventually led them to NBA careers, one of them still flying high at his franchise right now. But I happen to have family members in the Bahamian school system, residents there, who have told me that, boy, this little boy was lucky because it was us teachers who rallied around to help him get these things or get that other thing so that he could sustain his schooling and his progress through school to matriculate to the level where he could go to the NBA. And I said to myself, well, a country like the Bahamas, which has a very, very strong record of producing players of this caliber, the envy of the English-speaking Caribbean when it comes to this, and perhaps the Caribbean in general, you shouldn't have youngsters in the school system, Minister, where it is left up to chance and the benevolence of teachers with a good heart to assist them through school for them to make the step up where they can be flying the flag of Bahamas, of the Bahamas so high as NBA players. You should have a system where those youngsters with that amount of talent, that level of talent, can be facilitated by some government program helping them through school as they pursue their hoop dreams. And now you are the minister, I'm putting that to you and asking if that's not something you will look to put in. So again, you don't leave it to chance, because if these teachers didn't care, there's a particular guy and another one who wouldn't be the NBA stars they are now. And I want you to give us the assurance that you'll be working on that in your tenure.
Yes, I am. Actually, I have first-hand experience of being a high school coach, as you are aware, and there were many student athletes that if I was not there for them, I could tell you they would not even finish high school, so to even move to the next level. So I understand, but it's the love and passion that we got as teachers and coaches and mentors that, you know, if we find that diamond in the rough, we do whatever it takes to push them. But to fix that, we believe that there should be a developmental subvention program in place. And that is something that I want to do for this ministry. Most of the professional athletes receive subvention, but we need to ensure that those who are aspire to be, or we can see the potential to be, that they receive that developmental subvention, that make sure that their progress is put in a place that they will be successful.
Yeah. I was speaking with Pauline Davis-Thompson during the Olympics coverage, and she was telling me a story about Stephen Gardner, the Olympic 400-meter champion, that really, well, he was discovered almost by chance on the small island that he is from. And I know of some stories of some other outstanding athletes from the Bahamas who it wasn't any structured program that really shepherded them in the right way to becoming global superstars, but somebody saw them, referred them to somebody else, and it was almost by chance. Again, I want to ask if you don't believe that there is need for a structure where you have, I don't know if you want to call them a network of scouts or liaison officers, Minister, across the various islands in the Bahamas where you have your people living, to be able to look at every sports day at a school, every little athletic activity, to see if there are boys and girls who are showing a particular competence and skill in some area, who the government might not want to have in a structured program to allow them to self-actualize. Again, like the basketball situation, not leaving it to chance, but delivering it through a structured conduit to superstardom.
Our facilities. Most of these family islands outside of the major family islands does not have the necessary facilities that would allow these student athletes to excel to the level that they should be. That along with not having the right coaches there. Some are fortunate to have the right coaches. Stephen Gardner had one. And so for me, it comes right back to what I'm saying, ensuring that mostly the high school coaches of these schools that are in the family islands, if we can get the proper training and technique skills for these coaches, and we can ensure that facilities is placed in some of these far-fetched islands where we always find these diamonds in the rough, I would think we would see much more Stevie Gardner and others that will come to light. So putting facilities in place, ensuring that we have trained physical education teachers throughout the islands. I'm not talking about trained to be teachers, but trained and to be well-trained in knowledge in a particular discipline sports, maybe more than one or two disciplines. And that's what is going to help us to excel and keep these diamonds in the rough excelling to the next level. Because when you look at the major islands such as Grand Bahama, Axoma, Andros, and Nassau, will be mostly New Providence centric. That's where all the talent is, and that's where all the coaches is. So we need to put more incentives in place that would allow coaches to want to go to these various islands, have facilities there that would allow the student athletes want to stay there once they know that that coach knows what he's doing in whichever discipline. And I think now we'll have more talent coming from the islands, because there are much more talents in the islands than there in some of these major islands.
Excellent. Minister, you have your work cut out for you. We wish you all the very best and assure you that you'll always have a friend here in SportsMax. All the best.
Thank you, sir. And it's a pleasure being here with you guys anytime.
Excellent. Minister Mario Bowleg, he's in charge of the sport, youth, and culture portfolio in the Bahamas.
Yeah, I wonder if he will still be available to be an NBA analyst, George.
No, I don't think. I think he'll be too busy.
Yeah, I would suspect so.